Where you been? It's TeeJay, the artist. You rockin' with me. You are the smartest. And we back with another video, man. Listen, NCAA College Football 26 deep dive. Finally, I've been waiting for it. I know they dropped the Madden one. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll hop into Madden, maybe I won't. I'm not sure. But NCAA means a lot. And I did a FAMU Dynasty last season. I'm gonna do it again. We're gonna watch the deep dive here that they dropped, that EA dropped, and then there's one that Eric Rayweather dropped that's probably gonna dig a little deeper than they did. About to get into this video, man. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. NCAA 26. Let's do it. Here we go. Welcome to they showed a big hit. Off center, perfect time. You know, I'm gonna let it rock, but that lets me know right now you better make sure you hit that hit stick, boy.
Welcome to the EA Sports College Football 26 gameplay deep dive. We'll share details about a massive playbook expansion.
Okay.
All new player types and abilities.
Okay.
Improvements to wear and tear.
Okay.
New control mechanics, stadium pulse, physics-based tackling,
y'all finna make the stadium pulse crazier?
Let's get into it.
All right, let's do it. Come on.
With real coaches comes a massive playbook expansion.
All right.
For the first time ever, over 300 real college football coaches bring their unique styles and
they did say that Deion Sanders not in it, and Coach Belichick is not in it. So if you was hoping to see them two in the game, sorry.
45 new formations have been installed. New option types, motion types, bizarre play.
Wait a minute. What kind of formation is that? Did y'all see that?
New plays and over 45 new formations have been installed. New option types.
What in the world?
Motion types. Bizarre.
There's two linemen over here. Pass it to him, because what these two gonna do out here with these three people? Play the numbers game. You only got 4 down line. Wow, this is crazy.
Our plays and formations from last season are at your fingertips. And they're all tuned so you can craft a strategy that feels like your favorite program. 10 brand new player archetypes and 10 rebalanced abilities. Now
all those
84
look the same.
total.
Wait. Battering ram wasn't in 25. Heisman caliber moments of finishing runs, making defenders pay with increased wear and tear. Oh, so it put damage on them fools.
Are designed to showcase the wide variety of skill sets we see in college football every Saturday. Improvements to how abilities scale are based on performance.
It don't look like
when a player gets hot, their physicals receive a substantial boost. And platinum tier abilities will automatically upgrade to the new, more powerful Heisman tier. The Heisman tier captures those unexplainable moments when a player single-handedly takes over a game. New field vision introduces more realistic challenges for quarterbacks. Shorter quarterbacks will now have more limited vision when surrounded by taller linemen.
So if you're a shorter quarterback, you can't see over the middle because the line too tall.
Introduces more realistic challenges for quarterbacks. Shorter quarterbacks will now have more limited vision when surrounded by taller linemen. And receiver icons will fade as they come.
All right, so I got a little bone to pick with him. It's disappearing, but there's nobody in front of him. It's over here and over here. There's nobody right here, so he should be able to see that. I'm just saying.
In and out of view.
I'm just saying. But anyway, let's rock.
To ensure balance around how different abilities affected wear and tear during hits and tackles, every ability in the game was reviewed and adjusted. New customizable auto sub options let you tailor personnel decisions to strategically handle wear and tear for every position. Take complete control with adjustable impact settings and battle real-world conditions with new weather modifiers that impact wear and tear.
I play with the Gators, so the snow and all of that ain't gonna affect me. The rain will, though.
And you'll get instant feedback with new pre-snap visual settings,
so
and
if
battle
they hurt
real-world
walking up to the line, you're gonna be able
with
to tell
new weather
if they
modifiers that impact wear and tear. And you'll get instant feedback with new pre-snap visual cues that can affect a player's demeanor, indicating their condition right on the field. Updates to physics-based tackling make better tackles actually feel better. New tackle types like wrap catch tackles and lunges and new timing-based skill mechanics offer more tools to disrupt and dictate the game.
Okay.
With new authentic audio for big hits that adds realism and
so I was right about the hit stick and stuff. They would be able to time it.
Variety to defense. New dynamic subs allow real-time roster management without breaking from the action, enhancing the flow and strategy of every game. Make informed.
Okay, so this kind of like 2K when you can do and they got a reset starter button. So that's kind of like 2K when you can sub while playing. Okay, I guess.
Personnel decisions.
And it tell you what's hurt. Like before,
subs allow real-time roster management without breaking from the action, enhancing the flow and strategy of every game. Make it.
See, it says the first person that said foot, then it switched, and this person back hurt, and this person left arm hurt. Okay.
Informed personnel decisions and get your starters back out there with one button press. A rebuild of offensive and defensive line interactions redefines trench battles.
Okay.
Control the direction of your blocks with new block steering.
That's next level. You can control the block steering,
which factors in player attributes like strength and momentum for more realistic line of scrimmage play.
Okay.
And the addition of stunts and twists delivers more depth and control in pass rush. 12 different types of stunts offer a range of strategic options before the snap, providing a new layer to the chess match at the line of scrimmage.
Come on, boy.
We're introducing
the stunts and everything might actually be less cheese because there's so many different ways to blitz. People, of course, are going to find their own ways, and one of them is probably going to be more overpowered than others. But with all this customization, people are going to be able to blitz their own kind of way and create their own type of pressure. That's going to
Possible defensive zones.
Custom zones.
For more precise control over pass coverage. Adjust the depth of where your safeties line up in coaching adjustments.
Like that.
Fine-tune your defensive strategies in real time and outsmart opponents.
I like that.
When you're on the home,
it is very complex.
Field advantage side of Stadium Pulse, it's a beautiful thing. But for visitors, Stadium Pulse in College Football 26 is louder, tougher, and more personal, elevating the chaos of night games at already tough-to-play places. More intense camera 26 is louder, tougher, and more personal, elevating the chaos of night games at
the dog's face and chin is inside his pads. I'm sorry. It's a new game, but that's a little picky. But I'm just,
already tough.
His face was in
the play places. More intense camera shake, new visual disruptions.
Y'all making kicking even worse.
Distorted clocks will throw off your timing and communication with dynamic intensity depending on the game situation or career moment.
I know y'all ain't got my Gators missing a field goal. Yeah, y'all must not know the stats on that, bruh. Oh, all right, NCAA, redo this and make my boy make this field goal to end the game. Stop playing.
Pre-order the MVP bundle. Includes both EA Sports College.
All right, we gonna get into the Eric Rayweather one right now. Let's do it.
This gameplay deep dive is finally here. Now, this video is sponsored by EA, as they did get me this information early so that I could get this video ready.
Yeah.
I'm going to be breaking down the entire gameplay blog, which is pretty lengthy, but I'm going to try to sum it up as quickly as possible. And in the background, of course, you will see clips from the trailer playing. And if you don't want to miss out on the rest of the deep dives or the exclusive gameplay coming for this game in the coming weeks, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on, because you're not going to want to miss all this important info.
All right.
So the first thing that the deep dive blog covers are the dynamic subs. No longer do you have to sub at the play call menu. You could do this on the fly on the field by pressing up on the D-pad. Then you can cycle players in and out by tapping left or right on the D-pad.
Okay.
And these substitutions will stick until you go in there and change them back. And you can also filter how you sub these players. So if you only want to look at offensive skill players or just at linebackers or just at the defensive line, you can...
I think that's too much. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like this is a little too much. I feel like they can have a better way of doing this. You know what I'm saying? I do know that you can do it as a group. Like you can do fresh legs. You can do Gritty, which will keep your starters in, and I forgot what the other one was, but I think it's 3 different ways and then the custom one.
Can do this. You'll also be able to see real-time health insights on the submenu, like the wear and tear indicators. You'll also see the overall ratings of the players and their current effectiveness based on their wear and tear. Speaking of wear and tear, that was a very big addition to the game last year, and this year they've made improvements to it in a big way. They said before expanding on the system, the first priority was to address some of the tough to reproduce bugs while continuing to improve the balance. So they've cleaned up some of the bugs, and they've also adjusted every ability in the game to ensure accurate balancing around how each ability impacted wear and tear during hits and tackles. And they also answered some big community feedback around making it easier and more strategic to manage players based on wear and tear, because everybody plays different. So there are some auto sub settings that you can use. There's a default setting, which is just the standard.
This is what I was talking about. Okay, this is what I was talking about. Keep fresh, grind it out, custom, and default. So default is CPU substitution logic. Keep fresh, hey, that's frequent. I can't even talk. That's frequent running back substitutions, and I guess any other position. Then grind it out. That mean you staying in there. Okay,
CPU
and then
substitution logic. There is a keep fresh auto sub, which is inspired by real world rotation strategies like Michigan's frequent running back substitutions. There's a grind it out auto sub for teams that want to keep their best players on the field as long as possible. Players will push through being banged up and only sub out when absolutely necessary. And then there's a custom setting where you could sub based on the lowest health to specific body parts, giving you precise control. And then they go on to say how Dynasty players were some of the most passionate fans of the wear and tear system, but that they wanted to give you more control over it. So this year they've introduced a complete customization of the wear and tear. If you want increased damage from hit sticks or sacks, you can do that. If you prefer fast...
Okay, so you can increase or decrease how much wear and tear they actually take when they get hit. And I'm pretty sure they got it to where they can recover too.
Healing between quarters or during timeouts, you can set it like that. So now there's an in-depth settings menu for wear and tear. You can completely customize it exactly to your liking, which I think is a great addition. And another new addition to wear and tear is that weather will also impact wear and tear, because they've had conversations with real coaches and players, and one thing that they all consistently brought up is how the weather will significantly impact your wear and tear in real life. So now that will happen in the game as well. They've also visually upgraded how you see this, especially for quarterbacks. It says if the health dips below 60%, you'll see it reflected in his pre-snap demeanor. He might roll his shoulder, shake out his arm, or gingerly kick out a sore leg as he approaches the line of scrimmage, which is kind of cool, because if for whatever reason you're not paying attention to the wear and tear, your QB will give you a visual cue that something is wrong, and it might remind you to actually pay attention to it if you've lost sight of it. They've also adjusted the toughness rating. Last year, your toughness rating would determine how much damage a player took to a specific body part after contact. This year, they've taken that a step further. Now toughness affects recovery, dictating how quickly each body part heals over time as well. Moving on to abilities, they've done a decent amount of work with that this year, starting with the new archetype system. They've expanded it to add 10 brand new additions, each crafted to reflect a unique and electrifying skill set seen every...
Battering ram is crazy, and it makes your team, it makes the defense tired. That one's crazy.
Saturday. The archetypes are intentionally diverse, and no two share the same ability loadouts. And they said you'll hear more about that when they do the Dynasty Deep Dive. But one of the biggest changes now is...
The Dynasty Deep Dive come out on the 23rd.
Is something they're calling the out-of-body experience. It says they've redefined abilities to scale when a player gets hot. Momentum matters more than ever in the game. When a player starts to cook, their physical abilities receive substantial boost. If the player already has redefined abilities to scale when a player gets hot. Momentum matters more than ever.
Don't tell me they got spectacular catching in NCAA
in the game.
Because on Madden, I know that you could push a button and then do that like specifically.
When a player starts to cook, their physical abilities receive...
He did catch that with one hand. Oh, Lord.
Substantial boost. If the player already holds defined abilities to scale when a player gets hot, momentum matters more than ever in the game. When a player starts to cook, their physical abilities receive substantial boost. If the player already holds a platinum tier ability, it automatically upgrades to the new Heisman tier, featuring enhanced effects and powerful new functionality directly inspired by player feedback. When this happens, a green flash around the player's icon signals a tier up, but conversely, if a player's performance drops, you'll see the red downward arrow indicating they
Oh, it can go down. So if he having a bad game, his badges can go down.
dropped a tier. So it's kind of like dynamic abilities now. If you're playing really good in the moment, your ability can up tier.
So if you whooping somebody, it's gonna get worse. Cause now they ain't even got the badges to combat you. So once you winning, it's a wrap.
To the next level, which will give them a bigger boost, because if you remember, you had bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, each one more effective than the previous, and now they've added Heisman on top of that. So in game you can up tier or down tier your abilities based on your momentum, which I think is a pretty cool addition. They've also added some new offensive and defensive abilities. A couple that they touched on here was battering ram on offense, and this is exclusive to the contact seeking archetype. So think of those running backs like in the NFL, for example, like Derrick Henry, who really wants to run you over. These ball carriers inflict increasing levels of wear and tear on defenders, provided they finish runs falling forward. And on the other side of the ball, they have the hammer ability, which is inspired by hard hitters like Ray Lewis. This gives you a higher chance to force fumbles on perfectly executed hit sticks. And they've also integrated the ability and wear and tear system on a different level this year. Each physical ability now categorizes into either upper or lower body, and as a player's wear and tear accumulates throughout the season, they can lose up to 2 tiers on the corresponding ability.
So that's a dynasty thing. So they, over the course of the season, if they getting messed up the whole season, they can drop 2 tiers. That's crazy.
So this just adds another layer of strategy of how you're managing players in Dynasty mode, for example. Moving on to playbooks, it says College Football 26 is delivering the single biggest playbook expansion in EA Sports history. 2,800 new plays and 45 new formations.
All of that is fine. If they're not effective, it don't matter. We already know people finna come out here in 4 verts and inside zone. If all this 2,800 and formations and all that don't matter, man, I hope it's some effective plays in them books.
All tuned to reflect the chaos, creativity, and pageantry that defines Saturday football. With the arrival of 300 real head coaches for the first time in the series, it says they knew that they had to be more than just a content drop. It had to be a true evolution. The playbooks are bigger and deeper than ever. They've increased the total capacity by over a third. Most offenses now feature 25 plus formations and 400 plus plays, giving you more tools to scheme, adapt, and dominate. Right there is crazy. It says you'll immediately notice a difference between Air Force's Flexbone DNA and USC's spread. From Miami's modern air raid to Iowa State's power spread, every team has a unique feel, and every user has a real jumping off point to build or customize their identity. They've also added fresh concepts like jet power read toss, and counter bash. They've added new motion types like reload, bounce, escort, and boomerang to help you layer deception and keep defenses guessing. These match the complexity of motion-heavy offenses like Kansas, Alabama, and James Madison. They've even added double motion plays. That means you can mimic the chess match seen in real life from programs like Georgia Tech and Penn State. They've also expanded the QB run and RPO variety. From old school veer reads and modern pop passes to sprint out options and design QB powers, your signal caller now has the full menu. Notre Dame, Utah, and dozens of other teams now feature playbooks where the quarterback truly runs the show.
Online, you're not going to be able to use custom playbooks or change your playbook. So, I mean, I guess in Ultimate Team, you'll be able to switch, your playbooks up, so it'll matter there with all the formations and stuff. But as far as just online, regs online, you ain't gonna be able to switch it up to try all of this out. So, you might find a good playbook, but it's on a bad team. Hey, it is what it is. I love it like that, though.
They've also added a ton of other stuff like smarter option routes, gadget packages by formations because of the new gadget depth chart.
I'm glad he said smarter option routes, because the option routes this year, trash. Option routes this year, it felt like they always ran, like, hold on. It felt like they always ran the wrong route. Every time.
Position. If you put a player in the gadget depth chart slot, you can sub that player into specialized packages across multiple formations.
I like how
he's taking a snapshot because of the new gadget.
This is just me watching it. I like how he ran over to make sure he got that block and then he popped it back outside.
Depth chart position. If you put a player in the gadget depth chart slot, you can sub that player into specialized packages across multiple formations, whether he's taking a snap at Wildcat QB or motioning from slot to tailback. They've also added some signature looks from the real 2024 season, like packages across multiple formations, whether he's taking a snap at Wildcat QB or motioning from slot to tailback.
I like that. They said if the defender don't get his eyes around in the ball, he's not picking that off. This right here is good. I'm glad he didn't get this pick, but NCAA 25, that's a pick.
They've also added some signature looks from the real 2024 season, like Penn State's shotgun gate, Penn State's swinging gate variants, Ole Miss's Wildcat do swing, Rice's pistol wingback, Western Kentucky's power Hulk, ECU's trips off weak, and Duke's wide off trap stack. Moving on to the quarterback play, precision, vision, and strategy. They've done a lot of work with something they're calling field vision, and they say height finally matters. And as a short king myself, I take offense to that. It says field vision factors in QB height, lineman size, and pocket proc. Something they're calling
the ball. If you not looking at this ball, you're not picking it off.
Field vision, and they say height finally matters. And as a short king myself, I take offense to that.
It says field vision factors in QB height,
lineman size, and pocket proximity. Shorter
is passing back.
QBs under center may lose sight of receivers behind tall linemen, causing icons to fade and accuracy to drop.
This is what you talk about right here.
Shotgun and pistol help offset
RB is
to better reflect real life QB play. It says that they've widened the gap between elite and lower rated quarterbacks. Top QBs read defenses quickly and progress through targets. Pistol help offset this.
It's kind of faded. See how it's kind of good right here. Good right here. It's kind of faded right here. So this is going to disappear as he goes across the middle because all these linemen are taller than him, and technically he's not supposed to be able to see over them. Understand?
To better reflect real life QB play, it says that they've widened the gap between.
Why did he not pick this off?
Between elite and lower rated quarterbacks. Top QBs read defenses quickly and progress through targets efficiently, while lower tier QBs struggle with slower reads and limited progressions. Just like inexperienced elite and lower rated quarterbacks. Top QBs read defenses quickly and progress through targets efficiently, while lower tier QBs struggle with slower reads and limited progressions. Just like inexperienced players in college. And I believe the awareness rating is what's going to play into this. They've also upgraded how the CPU recognizes blitzes. To counter last year's overuse of the double mug and cover zero blitzes, College Football 26 upgrades QB AI with smarter hot read system.
Because we got somebody that's in our league that a mid blitz, probably mid blitzing the whole time and putting up scores that's like, all right, bro, you can relax. I mean, look like they got a smarter AI now.
Better blitz recognition and improved progression logic.
You ain't gonna be able
High
to
awareness
spam.
QBs now respond to pressure like real life stars, making gameplay more balanced, strategic, and authentic. Now let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. They acknowledged that last year was explosive and wide open on offense, but they felt like they had to buff the defense up a little bit more because at the end of the day, defense wins championships. They've brought physics-based tackling to the game to bring more control, more realism, and more satisfying outcomes to every hit. In this year's game, better rated tacklers don't just win more, they win with impact. Timing, weight, speed, and angles now drive tackle variety from glancing hits to powerful stops. It's not just about how it looks, it's about how every tackle feels. They've added a bunch of new tackle types like wrap catch tackles for DBs who aren't heavy hitters. They have the ability to wrap up receivers securely at the catch point. They've also added new lunging tackles where you don't have to necessarily leave your feet to lunge out. You can make a controlled lunge while staying upright, adding another layer of realism to...
That's different because usually, is that like the hit? How do you do that? Is that like a hit stick or is that the dive button?
Open field tackles. They've also added explosive hit stick animations to capture those thrilling real life moments when you see the ball carriers caught off guard. They've also done work with the timing of the tackles. It says timing and aiming mechanics from last year's hit stick tackles have been expanded to every real life moments when you see the ball carriers caught off guard. They've also done work with the timing of the tackles. It says timing and aiming mechanics from last year's hit stick tackles have
okay timing perfectly square.
been expanded
That's probably gonna be something with how many broken tackles happen.
to every one-on-one tackle scenario, including strips, cuts, lunges, wraps, SWAT catch tackles, and wrap catch tackles. By putting control directly into your hands, your skill as a player can significantly influence broken tackle outcomes, knockout strips, and forced fumbles. And they've also integrated similar timing on offense with trucking and stiff arming.
I think that was something with Madden. It was called Boom Tech, so they low-key just put it in here. I mean, they just not calling it Boom Tech though.
As well.
It's Boom Tech.
They made some core tackle improvements. This year, tackling upgrades go beyond animations. They capture the chaos, energy, and momentum of real college football. From game-changing sacks to tone-setting hits, defenses now feel as dynamic and impactful as the offenses they face. They've also done work with late hit throws to address unrealistic late second throws. Late attempts under pressure now lead to more sacks or riskier passes. Throws are aimed more realistically, increasing chances for catches or interceptions while rewarding strong pass rushes. They've also added realistic post-tackle movement. Post-tackle movement is now smooth and more realistic, making big collisions feel more disruptive and authentic. Hits also deliver better audio and more consistent wear and tear effects, adding to the impact. Moving away from tackling into the defensive line,
You know what they should have and bring it back? Pop that helmet off.
Increasing work with late momentum of real college football. From game-changing sacks to tone-setting hits, defenses now feel as dynamic and
that's what I want to see. I want the helmet to come off.
Impactful as the offenses they face.
Put that back in the game.
They've also done work with late hit throws to address unrealistic late second throws. Late attempts under pressure now lead to more sacks or riskier passes. Throws are aimed more realistically, increasing chances for catches or interceptions while rewarding strong pass rushes. They've also added realistic post-tackle movement. Post-tackle movement is now smooth and more realistic, making big collisions feel more disruptive and authentic. Hits also deliver better audio and more consistent wear and tear effects, adding to the impact. Moving away from tackling into the defensive line, stunts and twists are here. It says at the play call screen, you can hold the corresponding button on any play to open up a new sub-menu showing all available stunts and twists for that call. Custom tailor your pressure before you even break the huddle. There are 12 unique stunt
because now you'll be able to get a bunch of confusion and pressure with just 4 people if you know what you're doing.
Types available, each designed to replicate real-life tactics used by top defensive coordinators. These aren't just cosmetic, they change the timing, angles, and matchup logic at the line of scrimmage. Now you can run designed pressures to force O-line communication errors, set up mismatches and late loop.
Now you ain't gonna have to do mid blitz and send 6 and all of that. You can get some pressure with 4 with all the twists and turns, man.
Big rushers, disrupt rhythm and pocket integrity, and bring true
This will be the biggest skill gap this season. Because it's a lot of intricate things and a lot of things that's just not simple. Like, a lot of intricate. There's real, like, finite things in here. You can customize so much. I think you're going to be able to see a skill gap in this game.
Strategy to the trenches. They've also added something called block steering in the trenches. Once engaged, you can press the right trigger and the left stick to begin steering. You can steer an interaction in any direction based on strength and weight ratings, and most importantly, momentum.
So, how are you going to be able to control the steering of the offensive line and the running back at the same time?
Trenches.
Is it like going to be just defaultly running while you do that and then you take control of the running back?
Once engaged, you can press the right trigger and the left stick to begin steering.
It's him right now, but is he like steering him and the running back just knows to go up in this hole right here?
You can steer an interaction in any direction based on strength and weight ratings,
I don't know.
and most importantly, momentum. This works for both sides of the ball, whether you're a nose tackle trying to dent the A-gap or a pulling guard trying to drive a defender out of the way. There are 700 plus new animations in this system alone. Every push, turn, battle looks and feels different depending on who's involved. This also unlocks smarter play from AI linemen. Defensive players will now maintain their assigned gaps based on a play call and alignment, significantly limiting crashing or stunting blindly. Gap integrity matters more in today's game, and it finally matters in College 26. This year's blocking logic has also been re-engineered from the ground up, and that includes both run and pass protection. They've also improved the targeting system for blockers. It says schemes that now block with drastically improved clarity and accuracy include power, counter, trap, wham, duo, all veer variants, and midline concepts. They've also overhauled the impact, block, and collision wins. All the outcomes are based on weight class, ratings, and momentum differential. It's not just about being targeted, it's about how you arrive. And when it comes to impact, block, and collision wins, all the outcomes are based on weight class, ratings, and momentum differential.
Go right here, meet him. It's gonna be you and him. Y'all, unless he peel off and get that, come right here, bro. Cut that back up, or you cut it all the way back, and that's a touchdown. Get right now.
It's not just about,
and you still got time. Get back over here.
About being
who's in charge of this man right here? Get back over here.
Targeted. It's about how you arrive. And when it comes to passing, your offensive line will now make more intuitive decisions about who to block and when to block them based on immediate threats and overloads. There's also a pretty cool mechanic that allows you to untarget defenders. You now have the ability to unassign a target. See a free defender you want to leave unblocked for a screen, you can now intentionally avoid targeting certain players. This gives advanced users the level of control they've been asking for.
So everybody that's like crowding the line to make everybody on the offensive line, make them as a threat, now we can just ignore people.
Really where this...
And it's usually they bring the user down to get on the line. You can ignore the user because he's not coming in. He ain't coming up in here. Ignore him.
This is big is when you're playing against online opponents and they try to mug the gap with a user who they're not going to rush, but they try to trick the offensive line to pay attention to them, which allows them to get free rushers in. Now, if you notice somebody doing this, you can tell your line to untarget that user defender that's standing in the gap, so they will ignore him as if he's not a rushing threat, which will make them focus on the people who actually are rushing. They've also simplified slide protection, which I think is a huge addition. If you want to slide left, for example, just tap slide left plus right stick to the left. If you want a full slide, double flick the right stick. You'll have to kind of relearn the system, but you can just slide with the right stick now instead of having to press a whole bunch of buttons. And you can also now flip your pass protection the same way you flip a play pre-snap, just like in real football. Moving on to the secondary, they have added custom zones this year. Last year, they introduced custom stems that gave you the ability to adjust the depth and angle of your offense.
And you can make the safeties do what they want to do. Bring them down, take them up. Also, with the custom zones, for the people like me, I don't really set zone drops. I'll probably be using custom zones.
It's a route. So this year, I
can just do it myself. Be, hey, you go a little deeper. You come down here a little bit closer. Hey,
needed to cook up a counter for it. They said sometimes you want your seam flat to drop a little bit deeper, or you wish that your deep zone would sit just a little bit shallower to take away a dig route, for example. In College 26, you can now fine-tune the defensive zones just like you did with route stems, allowing you to strategically counter and neutralize any offense. They've also improved coverage in a variety of other ways. Smarter coverage reactions, more meaningful leverage battles, deeper risk versus reward mechanics, and the excitement and challenge of authentic one-on-one matchups. They've also introduced a route commit mechanic, which I think is going to be another huge addition. Now you can sell out on an in or out breaking route on a specific receiver, but if you guess wrong, they're probably going to cook you.
Okay, so you can, that was one of my questions about this route commit. So it's only on in or out breaking routes. And it says specific receiver, so it's not the whole defense, it's on a specific receiver. So if you think he finna do this slant, make him just go in, and then as the defense, he's just gonna aggressively go in there. He ain't about to short change you. He going down in there. Now if you guess wrong though, cook.
However, if you guess right, you should completely shut them down. Moving on to man defense, they said this year man-to-man is much more varied. Elite corners like Leonard Moore will mirror receivers closely, breaking with quicker timing that feels earned, not scripted. If you're facing top receivers like Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams, you'll still feel pressure, but the battle is fair. Winning means your leverage, timing, and positioning were all perfect. Losing means the receiver earned every inch of that separation. The improvement in man coverage means you can confidently call man, shade inside, use route commit, and feel like you're playing real football, not rolling dice.
Okay, because I didn't play no man last year. I played no man defense last year because I did not trust it. So I stayed in zone basically the entire year. You might be able to play some man this year.
They've finally done work with the leverage game as well. Now when you align with inside or outside shade, it directly impacts your defender's ability to cover. If you hold inside leverage and the wide receiver runs a dig, you'll stay tight and compete aggressively. Lose leverage, you'll still be in the play, but you'll feel the urgency to close the gap. Shading coverage matters more than ever, pairing directly with route commit and leverage to create a complete defensive toolkit. Shade over the top, you'll gain cushion to protect deep, but you'll also see sharper cuts separate underneath. Shade underneath, you'll clamp down hard on short routes but risk being burned vertically or by double moves. Now, another place that got an adjustment was something they're calling no eyes, no picks. It says when a DB doesn't have eyes on the ball, he won't make those unrealistic blind leaps anymore.
Told you. So that done. Now it's you, boy. You better turn around. Better turn around.
No backward acrobatic picks without vision. Instead, defenders react late, fighting through the receiver's hands,
like right
trying
here.
to knock the ball loose rather than warping into perfect
around.
catch animations. It says when a DB is in a trail position, hips turned and running at full speed, you should feel more inclined to take a deep shot. You no longer have to wait until your receiver is 3 steps clear from breaking the jam. But when a DB does track the ball properly, you'll see that rewarded as well. Interceptions should feel earned, not gifted. It's a fair fight and an aspect that they are always seeking to improve. Now, I don't know if this is going to apply to user defenders or if this is just to CPU because they did not clarify that. Moving on with defense, they've also did some updates with the defensive playbooks as well. They've added new formations such as 3-4 tight, 3-3-5 flex, nickel single mug, and nickel 2-4 single mug, also nickel load and nickel 2-4 load. They've added a variety of new exotic and delayed blitzes to these formations. They've also added new Brock and nickel 2-4 single mug, also nickel load and nickel 2-4 load.
I wonder if they fixed this glitch right here. If you know, you know. Double wide receiver, and it basically tells if that person is passing or running. I wonder if they fixed that. Because you could do that on NCAA 25. If you didn't know, it's too late now. You can call double wide receiver, and if the back guy has no assignment, if the safety has no assignment, then it was a run, and you could just basically run commit. You could probably blow it up. If it's a pass, it'll have a zone back there for him. The only thing that you couldn't tell what it was an RPO. That's the only one. But if they legit running or legit passing, you can go off of that. But I hope they fixed it.
They've added a variety of new exotic and delayed blitzes to these formations. They've also added new bracket plays, which includes 1 double slot, 1 double tight end, double bracket switch, and bracket switch Willie. But that's not all for the defense, there's more. Enhanced run fit logic. College Football 26's revamped run fit system ensures that defenders align and react with discipline no matter the offensive scheme. Gaps are cleaner, assignments are smarter, and run defense is more consistent from start to finish. Linebackers and safeties. Second level defenders now trigger faster and play more aggressively. Linebackers and safeties attack gaps with real physicality, bringing authentic downhill impact to every run stop. They've also done work with RPO integrity. RPO defense in College 26 now mirrors real football with built-in rules based on alignment and route action. Interior defenders play the run first while outside defenders read their key, reacting to routes or blocks for smarter, more realistic responses. College Football 26 also adds an RPO-specific coaching adjustment, letting you control how defenders handle the different RPO types and whether you want aggressive run fits or conservative pass-first coverage. So in other words, this should help cut down on the people that like to spam the bubble screen cheese with those RPO plays. You can now tell your defense to focus on that first. The run defense is also just smarter overall. Run defense in College 26 is faster, smarter, and more disciplined. With improved logic and tools, your defenders are built to hold up no matter the offense. Another great addition they made to defense were safety adjustments. Now you can adjust them pre-play, so you can adjust their depth. You can set them to close, you can keep them default, you can set them deep, or you could set them in prevent. You can also adjust the width. Default, you can spread them out, you can put them really wide, or you can pinch them in tight. You can also do midpoint shifts, like shifting them to the
safety depth, close, default, deep, prevent, then safety width, default, spread, wide, and pinch. So wide, I'm assuming further exaggerates outside leverage, deep routes. So makes sense. Spread, position safety is wider than usual. Sideline threats. Probably use spread when it's like the last 2 minutes because they trying to get down the field and they hit those corners a lot. Pinch brings safeties tighter to the middle. That's like on the hashes probably, or a little more than hashes. Midpoint, this is all about repositioning your safeties off the defensive mid. Oh, like if the ball isn't like in the middle of the field, it'll go left. Put them over there, right, and okay, I get it.
The left or to the right, to the strong or weak side, or to the field or boundary side. They've also updated the show blitz mechanic to now allow you to only show blitz with the linebackers instead of the entire defense as a whole.
Because when you show blitz, everybody came down. It's like, no, let's just. So what I used to do was come out in like a 3-4 defense, cover 4, and you can switch, but you can show blitz and then go to something else, and the safeties will stay down, but the DBs will back up. Now I can just do the linebackers and bring them up. And yeah, and I can put the safeties where I want them at, and yeah.
Oh, because sometimes when you show blitz, you don't want the entire defense coming forward. You just want the linebackers to. Now you can disguise coverages more, influence run fits, and fake pressure. They're also introducing real-time coaching 2.0. This is year 2 of the evolution of what they introduced last year to make teams call plays and do things like they would in real life. And one of the additions to this are delayed shifts. College Football 26 introduces delayed shifts, allowing defenses to disguise their moves with late rotations and post-audible shifts. Defenses now smarter recognize formation strength and run type, adjusting fronts and bringing pressure based on how and where you run. Expect quicker adjustments to stop dominant runners and seal cutback lanes. And for passing defense, they're introducing the 9-box, a spatial back-end intelligence system that tracks where you're passing. Using this, the defensive AI now understands not just where you're throwing, but also what you're throwing. The CPU knows if you're leaning on flood, mesh, or smash, and will start dialing up counters. This also powers a new layer of coach suggestions.
Spamming gone. I don't know if y'all heard that, but hold on, let's.
This is now smarter recognizing 2.0. This is year 2 of the evolution of what they introduced last year to make teams call plays and do things like they would in real life. And one of the additions to this are delayed shifts. College Football 26 introduces delayed shifts, allowing defenses to disguise their moves with late rotations and post-audible shifts. Defenses now smarter recognize formation strength and run.
So that puts even more of a. This is real intricate, y'all. He said delayed shifts. So this is like right before they hike it. Like, oh, they stand still. Said shift. What? Oh, Lord, what was that?
Type, adjusting fronts and bringing pressure based on how and where you run. Expect quicker adjustments to stop dominant runners and seal cutback lanes. And for passing defense, they're introducing the 9-box, a spatial back-end intelligence system that tracks where you're passing. Using this, the defensive AI now understands not just where you're throwing, but also what you're throwing. The CPU knows if you're leaning on flood, mesh, or smash, and will start dialing up counters. This also powers a new layer.
Spamming gone. 9-box. They gonna realize where you been throwing this whole time, and they just gonna, yeah, this is where you want to throw at. Yeah.
Layer of code suggestions where concept counters are intelligently surfaced. If flood is killing a defense, look for a call that directly attacks the route combo, not just a generic zone shell. The goal is to give players access to the same in-game adjustments a real coordinator would consider. And here are some other little things that they updated with the gameplay.
Switch stick, visual change, pre-play movement from Madden 25, of course. Pursuit has been tuned up, so low pursuit ratings, they're gonna be bad, like they supposed to be. But if they got good ones, they're gonna get you. CPU QBs getting out of fake earlier in play action. Oh, so you know they ain't gonna do the full play action. They might, hey, I ain't doing that. Okay, in the passing games, we have extended our bullseye accuracy system from last year. I guess they're saying they revamp passing. Expect to see a lot more back down attempts from pass rushers. Oh, so they on the line, they gonna put the mitts up. Double move improvements. Oh. Savvy offenses use of double moves to exploit aggressive all-out blitz schemes. Okay, double moves. That's them zigs and sluggos and stuff. Okay. Any post corners out there?
They made a switch stick visual change. Not sure what that means. Maybe just how it looks on the field. They also added pre-play movement that was in Madden 25, and they made enhancements so you'll see defenders moving and communicating pre-play, which does make the game look a lot more realistic, I will say. They've also tuned pursuit, and you'll see the lower pursuit rated players unable to properly judge speed and track down players, while the better ones should pursue a lot better. CPU QBs will get out of fakes earlier in play action. In the passing game, they extended the bullseye accuracy system from last year. In College 26, you will see a much wider range of slightly inaccurate and inaccurate passes. Expect to see a lot more bat down attempts from pass rushers. Linemen who gain leverage but can't reach the quarterback will actively try to knock the ball down. They've also made double move improvements to exploit the aggressive all-out blitz schemes. College 26 now enables quarterbacks to execute these routes more effectively. The improvement mirrors real-life scenarios where offensive coordinators strategically capitalize on overly aggressive or inexperienced defenders.
So
they've also beefed up home field
enhanced
advantage. They've made it louder, tougher, and more personal. It says that they brought up the intensity of the stadium pulse meter. It hits harder, it stretches deeper, and it feels...
You didn't have to. You did not have to up the stadium pulse. It was crazy enough. Y'all done upped it from there? Come on, man.
More alive. If you're walking into the wrong stadium at the wrong time, be prepared for an experience that can break your spirit or forge legends. And this has really been beefed up for night games and rivalries. Now when you're on the road under the lights, it's a different kind of chaos. Away quarterbacks will struggle managing the clock, just like we've...
The clock is disappearing.
And this has really been beefed up for night games and rivalries. Now when you're on the road under the lights, it's a different kind of chaos. Away quarterbacks will struggle managing the clock, just like we've seen visiting QBs in the swamp lose their composure in crucial moments. Kicking becomes dramatically tougher, especially with the game on the line.
You didn't have to make kicking even harder, bro. You did not have to make kicking harder.
Struggle managing the...
You didn't have to make kicking harder. And also, you ain't have to make Florida miss this kick. Come on, man.
Clock, just like we've seen visiting QBs in the swamp lose their composure in crucial moments. Kicking becomes dramatically tougher, especially with the game on the line. And in rivalry matchups, expect more false starts, more broken communication, and more composure breakdowns. And they've even gone more in depth with this. They say where you line up matters for hot routing. So receivers who are lined up furthest away are going to be impacted the most by crowd noise. The deeper your route concept, the higher the risk of miscommunication and confusion.
Because me and my homeboys been talking about this. We was like, bro, if I'm trying to hot route somebody and they right here, like this running back, why he can't hear what I'm saying? I'm right here. So that means the running back will be able to hear. The tight end should be able to hear. But this wide receiver over there and this one that's way over here by himself, he probably ain't going to be able to hear nothing. He might be able to hear a little bit, but not that much. These two should not have a problem hearing anything you say. Him, a little bit. And me and my homeboys was talking about that. He's like, why the running back don't know what he doing? He right here. I can literally say, bro, if you don't, like, bro, run this, like, easy.
It says pre-snap adjustments feel situational exactly as they do on Saturdays. You'll think twice before checking at the line and you'll work harder to maintain composure. But you can also silence the crowd more this year. When the visiting team pulls off a big play, specifically a gain of 20 plus yards resulting in a first down, you'll temporarily quiet the stadium and pause home field advantage effects. But they've also made kicking even harder with home field advantage, and it was already pretty hard last year. It says the accuracy meter becomes completely transparent, the ball fades out as your kicker lines up, the power meter fills white, reducing your visual feedback. And lastly here, they did some updates to celebrations because a lot of people like to celebrate after they make big plays. It says alongside adding new celebrations and replacing some others, they're introducing the ability to walk or jog around after an interception or touchdown, giving you even more ways to celebrate your big moments.
I ain't gonna lie. That's gonna be a good, like, it's not gonna be a glitch, but I feel like somebody gonna score a touchdown and they're gonna be running around and the game just not gonna go to the next part, and we just gonna have a clip where somebody just running around. Watch.
Now, I did get to play this game early at EA, and if you want my hands-on impressions of how the game plays, make sure to check out this video right here on the screen.
Hey man, I can't wait. June 23rd is when they drop in the next deep dive for Dynasty. This is gonna be dope, bro. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. Peace.